Last week, both NASCAR and CART agreed to work to better diversify the auto racing industry. At the request of Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Push organization, NASCAR says it will start an internship program with historically black colleges and universities to increase its outreach. CART will begin working with an African-American North Carolina racing team to build a training program to identify 3 drivers to drive and train under CART experts and sponsors. Chris Miles, the former host of Inside CART, has formed the Millennium Motorsports Initiative to facilitate minority participation in motorsports. Chris joins us now from Orlando, Florida. Chris, NASCAR Winston Cup has caught a lot of flack recently for a lack of minorities, but it's basically the same in the other major series. Why do you think we don't see a lot of minorities in racing?
Well, I think one thing, John, you have to go back to the history of motorsports. Unfortunately, ethnic Americans haven't necessarily been catered to via motorsports by the racing sanctioning bodies, and so hence we don't have a lot of support or participation. And once you start to see more minorities involved in motorsports within all facets, taken away from the physical aspects of racing, meaning drivers, mechanics, or crew chiefs, or what have you, and start to see more motorsports managers or team managers, marketing folks, logistics, hospitality, these types of things, then you're going to see more of an influence of minority talent within motor racing. But first, we have to make sure that the sanctioning bodies start to address to the ethnic American communities what their series and sport is all about.
So how is your program going to work?
Well, quite frankly, our goal is to make sure we can educate individuals on motor racing as a whole. Just as I had mentioned, it's not more or less just the physical aspects, being a driver and so forth. Those are the easy tools. What we want to make sure we do is educate anyone, not just ethnic Americans, but anyone who is excited about getting involved in motorsports and participating at whatever level. So by doing that, Starting Grid takes away the difference as far as being a physical aspect of racing with promoting drivers and mechanics and so forth to promoting managers. Like, for instance, Marty Hill is Michael Andretti's personal business manager, an African American. We need more of those individuals. Maria Grady is a photographer with Team Rahal, an African American. Delane Rouse, the same, a photographer. We have so many other individuals. Gerald Baker, who works in logistics for Team Honda. So once we have more opportunities become available, you're going to see some exciting things happen in motor racing in the 21st century.
Now, on the driver's side, your program is going to work hand in hand with the Skip Barber Racing School, right?
Absolutely. We couldn't have asked for a better relationship and partnership. I mean, Skip Barber truly has one of the most fundamental ladder systems that it takes to become a top perennial racing driver in the world, and they've been able to graduate individuals such as Brian Herta. Even Juan Pablo Montoya participated within their racing series. So partnering up with Skip Barber, what we're going to be able to do is find that next up-and-coming talent. We don't know if it'll be a male or female, but the key is we're definitely going to be able to partner up and have those individuals go through the normal process of driving a race car that Skip Barber has, and he's given us some scholarships to work with this year that will enable us to provide 2 3-day racing schools for potential candidates, as well as 2 practice days, 2 lapping days, and 2 race weekends, after which we will then reevaluate that talent and decide if we're going to be able to have them compete within the big scholarship program. So we're pretty excited about that.
You used to drive. The fans in the stands at a race are predominantly white, no matter which race you go to. Did that hurt you in finding a sponsor for your racing career?
Instantly enough, it did. I mean, I've heard every excuse known to man as to why they would not fund any of my personal racing endeavors. And I think one of the more unique ones was a motor oil company, which I won't personally name, but I'll just say they won't be in racing on a major kart team next year. And the person is no longer with that organization, but they said they didn't have a product that they could cater to the ethnic or African American community specifically. And I just couldn't believe that. But you got to understand, African Americans in particular are consumers whether we go to a racetrack or not. And I think that's what corporate America has to understand and identify, that we do not have to have a visible participation within the stands. I mean, quite frankly, we're going to buy the beverages and the cigarettes and go to the stores that are represented within racing across the board. And we should still be able to have an opportunity to have some type of racing personality out there. And the first one that comes to mind, quite frankly, is Willie T. Ribbs. And we really need to have him as an identifier, as a racing American icon. And you know what, John? He's a living legend. And to not have Willie T. Ribbs out there as a living legend able to compete right now at the top level is somewhat disappointing.
Well, Chris, thanks for taking time to speak with us. Best of luck with your program. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it.